Are we live?
Okay. Yep, you're live.
Hi guys, welcome to the Battle Pirates Crib. Just doing a show tonight, kind of impromptu, with the update that's come out recently, which includes the Forsaken Arena tournament. So we're going to go into that in some detail in a little while. Talk about some tips on how you can fight and compete, what fleets you to use. Also look over the prizes in the format. We've got with us today, obviously myself, Pain Train, KDE. We've got Earth from THE and Carpe Diem from AAB. So just want to start off real quick. Tell you about the bug fixes and tuning. Let's have a look what we've got here. Got a list. I won't go into in too much detail. You can pretty much read them on the forum yourself. The main one that struck me out at the top, they fixed a case where the fleets were attackable once they entered the retreat state after being fully destroyed in combat. So obviously we all know that when you get the long hour, 15-hour trip home and stuff. I'm sure everyone is glad to see that stopped there. What else have we got? Ship weapons will once again rotate to face their target in combat. They fixed an issue where the Draconian base attack plan would pop up, not properly displaying player names. The accuracy added to laser targeting special will be displayed in the stats listed in the shipyard for a ship equipped with the special. A /help command has been added to the chat window to allow players to see a list of chat commands. They've corrected a case where placeholder text will be displayed for the 5-minute speed up for rocket builds. Not sure what that one was there. They've addressed a visual offset that could occur with a level 11 wind turbine in combat under specific circumstances, and I think I've actually seen that one. It's where they kind of appear to be floating in the water kind of thing, don't they? Finally, they've added down the barrel campaign available to players at level 5. So I don't know if you want to talk about any of them. I don't really think there's much to talk about there, really, is there?
No, not really. I mean, it's good that they've solved the long trip home issue. I mean, I had it twice yesterday, so I'm quite glad that that one's gone, as I'm sure everybody else is as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, we'll crack on then. So obviously that was the bug fixes and tuning for the update. This week didn't see any new content like we usually see. Instead, they released the data for Forsaken Arena tournament, which is what we're going to go into now. I believe Tito has some slides prepared for us, if you want to grab those up.
Yeah, sure. Anytime.
You got them up yet?
Yes, I have them up. Well, first of all, as you can imagine, it's very similar to the last one. There are two big groups, the normal and the elite. It depends on the combat rating you have before getting in. If you are veteran lieutenant or below, that is 1,289. You will be on the normal one. If by any chance you happen to be captain or above, that is 1,280 and above. You will be on the elite one. There are huge difference between one and the other. The first of all is that the uranium pods are quite different. While the normal one will be 20,000, the elite one will start with 100, and it will go increasing as the players in each of those brackets start to spend into those uranium damage protections that, as you know, last for 3 battles, and doesn't matter how you end at the end of the battle, you get the ship's full restore. Well, the main difference now comes with people like badges, because only in the elite bracket you will get that special badge called Lord of the Arena. As you can see, I have it there also on the table. And then for the top 10 on each of them, they will get a main prize. In the elite one is the Torrent Missile 3, while in the normal one, while in the elite they will get the Buzzard missile, as we have seen in the video that they released as well. It's a new variant of the Torrent missile that has some specials, likely that critical from that we also know from the Vulture missile, and also likely other river weapons, likely the rockets that we all know. When you kill the ships using these weapons, you will create patches of fire that create more damage. After that, on the normal one, for the people that ends between the 11 and the 25, they will get 3 random advanced row crews. For any who is wondering what is an advanced row crew, it's any of the ones you can get while you are buying them with your own uranium and spending 500. So that includes commons, uncommons, and legendaries. If they end between the 26 and the 65, they will get one of those only. And if they end from the 66 to the 125, they will get one common one. So that means that they could end getting one common or one uncommon. As you can see, as long as you get in the first 125, you will get a prize plus any of the players, because the groups are for 250, will get a part of that pot at the end of the tournament, and the amount you will get will be a proportion between the points that have been done in the tournament and what you could do on your own. As you can see, if you are playing in the elite, for all of those similar tiers, you will get better than the other ones, because from 11 to 25 you get torrent missiles 3s and 3 of those randoms advance. From the 26 and 65 you will get 3 random advance, and if you end in the 66 to 125 you get one of those advance row crews. For any wondering, I guess they will do it last time, they didn't say it, but if you already own the torrent missile 3, it will compensate to you with more uranium instead. Well, other things to take in care. It starts on Thursday, January the 29th, at 9 a.m. Pacific time zone in the morning, and it will end on Monday, the February is the 2nd, at 1 p.m. in the same Pacific time zone. This time, to avoid the problem they got last time with the registering, you can register at any time during the tournament. Well, when you start the tournaments, as we said, your combat rating points, the ones you have already now, 10% of those will become into tournament points, and after that you will be accumulating points as you get more victories, as we show. All groups will be 250 person. All those that end the first in the bracket, doesn't matter if it's elite or not, will get the achievement for glory, something that you cannot brag because nobody sees. Each time that you win any battle, you will get 100 points, and if you completely destroy the enemy fleet, you will get to start to get a killer strike that gets you more points. The first time is 100. If you keep going on and you get the second, you will get 125, and for the third and over, you will get 156. And as we said, the uranium pot will start to grow as people spend in those uranium protection damage. And if you win your match while uranium repair insurance is active, it means that you will get back 40% of it instead of the normal one that you get in the normal Forsaken, which means that if you are able to win the 3 matches, you will get 120 of the cost back, so you will get 20% of what you have invested in that series of 3 battles. Well, for any that wonders what is this Buzzard, we have here a comparative of the two. The normal one that we have if you win the elite campaign and you enter in the 10 first, and the torrent missiles that you may have or you could win if you are playing in the normal one. And as you can see, just in a glance, you can see that it's much better in all the ways. It has more range, 66. If you add solid full booster, for those that don't remember, 66 is the range of the siege missiles, so you have those 89. It makes more damage, as you can see. The salvo is the same, so the penalty for releasing the 60 salvos will be the same for both, but it has lower reload time, which is translated in more DPS. The accuracy for both is the same, as you can imagine, as a missile and it's penetrating. It's lighter, which will help at the moment to keep this into the ships for the battle. And the radioactive damage is lower, but it doesn't care much, as you will see when we check the DPS, because the lower reload. it adds 5% combat speed. And as you can see, the DPS for the new weapon is 185, and it's quite higher if you compare it to the 149 that from the version from the last year, to say it some way. The DPS, if we compare it with tons, we can see that because it's lighter and does more damage, it does more damage per ton. And the DPS against the buildings is higher as well for what we have said. Also, the new one, as we stated before, it has the two new abilities. One is that if you destroy a ship using this weapon, you will create a patch of fire that will damage the ships that are surrounding that one. And by the moment that you are hitting a target that has 50 or less armor points left, you have a 50% chance to create a critic damage. And critic damage, for whoever that doesn't know, means that you can double the damage you do. Well, and that is all for all those two prices.
And what do you think that, I'm looking and thinking, what if I had this this missile, if I was lucky enough to win this, I've been trying to think what I would put it on, and the first thing that pops into my mind is V2H for killing subs. Obviously, we've seen plenty of turret missile sub killers out there, and I think they're working pretty well. Obviously, the main thing that popped into mind for me, I don't know about you guys, that fire field, what it has, people tend to stack the subs really, don't they? So, it's going to damage all of the subs at once.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And also, the fact that the range will be 89, if you can combine this with a solid full booster, means that if you keep it with the frost bonus also, the moment that the frost bonus posts them, you will be able to start shooting at them. You will not have to wait, like with a normal torrent, that you have to wait till they get into the range of the 80. So,
yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, the range is higher than the normal torrent, so obviously it's a win-win situation there. With the higher damage and the less weight, you can fit more of them on there and pack more of a punch. And it's a really good weapon on the face of things. Sorry, T, I butted in. But did you want to say anything else, mate?
No, another good idea for me will be on the Mastodon. We know that the Mastodon, once you are hitting on the remote targeting zone, you are losing DPS. Since you have more starting DPS with that 89, you will be able to hit stuff and do more damage than before. That's another good point, I think.
Would you prefer this over the siege missiles, though, on the Mastodons, do you think?
Well, for my own experience, if you are hitting bases, I prefer the siege missiles. If I am defending the base, I prefer the Taurus most of the time, because not that many bases wear that amount of CP4. But when I am hitting the base, since the base defender fleet normally has a lot of that CP4 or those penetrative panels, also to prevent the damage from the UAVs. When I tried that build first, I was not doing much damage to them.
Yeah, I have to agree. For attacking purposes, they don't seem to work as well. Torrents in the past, we've both tried it ourselves, and it's not quite as good. I think the reload rate on the torrents maxes out quite quickly as well because of the number of salvos. So it actually works out quite a lot better to use siege for hitting rather than using obviously torrents. And you've got the higher accuracy with torrents, but which is going to help you in defending, especially because obviously you're not going to be running a bullseye brigade crew if you're going to be defending, so you want a higher accuracy on them. So it's going to be a lot better for that, definitely. And as we've touched upon, if you destroy a ship, if you've got subs coming into your base and a Viper spots them or Frostburn or something like that, all you've got to do is kill one, get that patched, and you start to damage all the rest of them as well.
Yeah, I think that's really going to make like a chain reaction effect on subs. Subs aren't known for being the best in armor points, are they? So that will kill them pretty fast. Just like napalms do, when subs get spotted in my base, and napalm alone pretty much kills them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as anything really. You've just got to look at where you place stuff in your base. just to get maximum effect. If you can get someone spotted and then have like subs have to go through a big line of napalm fire, it's going to put a big hurting on them.
No, I mean we've touched on it being for subs and stuff. Do you see it being any useful in other fleet, or is it mainly, do you think, for killing subs, this weapon?
On a fleet versus fleet, you can use it because normally those fleet versus fleet rely more on evade most of the times rather than on CP4. So it will work. The problem is on the base, especially on the base defense, because many basers are composed of UAVs and alike, and the defender has learned that he needs to have a high subtraction level versus them, and that goes against this type of weapons.
Yeah, I know. I'm still sort of I'm not really too sure as to which way I want to go with it, really. Obviously, if you're going to put it on V2Hs, it's going to kick ass for sub hunting. It's going to be pretty good for fighting other fleets as well. But same with anything, it depends on what fleet you're fighting. If you've got something that's got really high missile defense on it, that can outrange you or outmove you, it's not going to help you a lot, is it? But it's a toss-up with everything in this game, isn't it? So you only win if you bring the right boat to the fight.
I just want to quickly point out, I think you said there, I think it was you, Thierry, you said the range was 89 with solid fuel booster. It's actually 85, 86, 85.8 with solid fuel booster 3.
I think it's 89, but I don't remember that right now.
No, I've just looked. It's you get 30%, don't you, on solid fuel booster?
Yeah.
And it's 66 range. Is that right?
Yeah. You will have the same range like any other siege missiles that you have.
No,
maybe it's 85, and I said 89.
Definitely is, mate. 85.8. I didn't want people to think it was 89, and
yeah, you're right.
But just before we move away from the kind of Forsaken arena, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I'm looking at it now, and it's it lasts the same amount of time as a raid, doesn't it? Like a monthly event.
Yes.
Do you not think that they're pushing it on a little bit too much here? You've got your weekly missions and your monthly raids, and now this has popped up a second time. I can imagine it's probably going to be a monthly event. I mean, I don't know if you think you're going to see more of them, but did they do one in December, when they did the last one? So, it looks like it's going to be a monthly event. So, you've got 2 raids, really, in a month, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good bit of fun. Obviously there isn't a lot sort of amount of stuff that you can win from it. But it's a good bit of fun, and people do like their fleet versus fleet, and it is a good way of ranking ships up for free as well. Because if you gather your uranium beforehand, and you put in a good mixed fleet in there, you can actually gain quite a bit of uranium if you're winning a lot of battles. And of course, you get your ranking bonuses in the arena as well. You get like I think it's at 1.6 times the XP or something like that. So
yeah, you do. You also get your road crew still, don't you? It's even in the tournament. So if you're not one who plays in the arena, but you want to take part in the tournament, for every victory you get per day, or sorry, for the first victory per day, you win a random blueprint still, don't you?
Yeah,
so
that's
it's a good
random road crew, isn't it?
It's a good thing to do just to get sorry, not blueprint, yeah, road crew. I don't know why I said that. But I'm not even drinking tonight, mate. But it's a good way to get that extra blueprint. Fucking blueprint road crew. So yeah, do it just for the road crew, even if you don't want to win the prize. You've got nothing to lose, really.
Yeah, and also you will get a part of that pot, so you will not leave the tournament empty-handed. You will get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that uranium pot, I mean, as long as you qualify for it, I think everybody gets a slice of the uranium pot. Depends on how many points that you have compared to the overall points in the group. So obviously, the more you compete, and the higher up in the rankings you get, the more uranium you're going to get out of that pot. So there is that as well, which is another side of it. So even if you just went in there and just done a couple of battles a day just to boost yourself up in the rankings just a little bit, because I know last time there was quite a lot of people who obviously registered for the tournament and then they just didn't play it. They just went in and done like one battle a day for it.
I just did one in the whole tournament last time. I didn't really have the time to play, but I wish I did, because it seems dredges are becoming obsolete again. They kind of disappear within 10 minutes, and I'm struggling to get quite enough uranium that I need. So I'll be playing it just for the uranium at least.
I'm sure that'll be changing rather shortly with today's update.
I'm sure, yeah, we'll get onto that shortly. I'm sure it's the giant elephant in the room that everyone's trying.
I come out of my base earlier, and you know how it is on the usual first spawn on a dredge day. Everybody's like, "Oh, I've got to get uranium, I come out, I was like, "What's going on here? It's like a ghost town."
Last week I didn't get any dredges at all. I couldn't be arsed to compete and to run to the fucking spawns and shit. So I just left it. I was too busy playing other games. But I reckon I might go and grab myself a cheeky dredge tonight, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see the Phantom Nighthawk becoming even more of a pain now to people, and you're getting lots of butt hurt from sniping people and sniping people's dredges. There has been in the recent past.
I've been doing that all the time, mate. A lot of my uranium has been courtesy of the community, and I'd like to thank them all if they're watching. But it's what you do. It's a pirate game, and people need to fucking loosen up. It's not real life. Move on, repair your fleet, and hit another one.
This is true.
Not even hard to hit.
No, they are if you've got the right fleets. If you haven't got the right fleets, then you need to be sort of working on stuff to do that. And then I'm going to post a couple of dredge builds to the Battle Pirates crib, probably later on this week.
I think probably think about the arena again. I don't want to stray too far away before we talk about the whiners and crybabies about the glitching and stuff. What kind of fleets are you going to be using in the arena yourselves? Are you going to be taking part, and what you're going to be using?
I'm probably going to take part. I'm probably not going to go as mad at it as I did last time. I mean, I come first in my group last time. When I got the cryo depth charge, however brilliant the weapon is, when I looked into the build time of it, it was like 2 days, 18 hours just to put one on the ship.
They look pretty nice though, them depth charges.
They work really, really nicely, but when they're at 2 days, 18 hours each to put on a ship, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm still toying with. I'm actually building.
But don't forget, Kickstarter are actively trying to reduce build times. So.
Yeah, but
what they're doing with that.
As we said here, it's something that you try, and another thing is that you do, and there is a big difference between one and the other.
This is true. Anyway, so basically, my advice to anybody who's going to compete or try to compete in the tournament is you need to send yourself in the mixed fleet. So you need something that's got some nice range on it, something that does a lot of damage, something that can see subs underwater, and something that you can kill stuff with quickly. Really,
I think Atlases are really useful. If you've got lightning carriers, for the speed factor, they could be good. But Atlases work really well. If you've got some rank on them, they'll tear a lot of shit up. Just make sure you don't neglect your anti-sub.
This is very true. I mean, what I used last time was I used one Frostburn, one Atlas, I used 2 Mastodons, and what else did I use? I used something else, and then I put something else in as a tank. And then I used a Judex as a tank. Yeah. Just to soak up a little bit of damage.
Mastodons are seeming really popular, in just general fleet. Like, if you're going out hitting guards on bases and stuff, quite often I see people with a Frostburn Mastodon fleet. Because it kills subs and regular ships. If you tick a bullseye on that, there's not much that's going to get in and kill it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my tip would always be that if you're if you're going to use a fleet like that, especially like Mastodons or any missile fleet in the arena, make sure you stick a Bullseye Brigade or a Disciples of
Definitely.
Skullduggery on it, especially if you're.
Well, don't use the Disciples of Skullduggery because your arsehole will be fucking raped by all the fucking crybabies.
This is true. However,
if I had one, I'd use it in the arena. I'd actually like to build that missile myself. So if I have one, I'm fucking using it.
It's quite good, really, because it lasts an hour and a half as well. So you haven't got to worry about constantly using crews and changing them up and realising that they're gone, and then obviously losing your win streak or whatever.
What I like about the arena as well, in the tournament, the amount of times I've put a Bullseye Brigade on and I get 2 or 3 matches, and I just think, what a waste of a crew. But you're getting constant matches, aren't you, in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing it last time, you don't actually just fight the people from your 250 group. You actually fight anybody in your world. So yeah, you can be fighting people from other groups. So it's not just the 250 that you're seeded with. Yeah, it's done in such a way so that you're fighting everybody that's in your world. So if you're in the 400s, for instance, you're fighting everybody in the 400s, which means that you've got a constant stream of people on and coming in, and you can fight someone pretty much instantly every time, which is really good. So you can get quite a lot of VXP just for ranking purposes, really, more than anything.
Yeah, I'm a lazy fucking slacker when it comes to ranking. I only do the unidentified fleets.
This is one way of having sort of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, really. Well, 3 really, because you're boosting up your uranium pot, you're ranking your fleets up, and you've got a possibility to win the Buzzard missile and the road crews. So, and if you're really interested in badges, you can get a new badge. Woo!
Get a nice tramp stamp on your base there.
I don't know.
I must say, I did push for the last badge in the last raid though. I like the look of it, and even though you didn't need 100 mil, the last raid was, it was fairly fucking easy, wasn't it? I was doing them 47s for like 2 coins.
Tito, are you going to be joining the Forsaken Arena tournament this time, Freddie?
Yeah, I wanted to join last one, but I was one of those that couldn't get in because since that I made the registering process too earlier and didn't come for me. But yeah, and probably I will use either the one you said or maybe swap the Frostborn for the Viper and put a Grimshine to get that extra reload. Or
I use a Grimshine, me. My Fleabee fleet, which has been working really well, I use a Grimshine, 2 Atlas carriers, or Horlocks even, and 2 battlecruiser or R10s. They seem to be working really well in killing everything on the map. I kind of, think especially with the tournament, you don't have to worry about your repairs because I get the PPI of Battle Pirates, the uranium insurance, and that makes it for me where I'm going to send the biggest, most powerful fleet I've got because repair isn't an issue. So I would always remember to get that insurance. For anyone who's taking part in any arena tournaments, it's well worth it.
It's definitely worth it, and don't forget as well.
You earn uranium if you win, so
yeah. And on top
use it, get the biggest fleet you can. Make sure you get a fucking win, and you earn uranium. Nothing to lose, really.
On top of that as well, any uranium that you spend on that insurance goes into the pot. Certain percentage of it goes into your uranium pot for the end. So the more people that are in there, and the more people buying that insurance, the more the uranium payout is at the end. So that's also working in your favour that way as well. And don't forget, and I honestly stress this massively, make sure you've always got a small pinch on your platform.
How do you feel about dropping Bullseye Brigade and using that radar runners though? That pisses people off.
Well, see, this is one thing that I come across last time. I ended up with having like an 87 kill streak in there, and I ended up losing it because somebody come in with a Phantom Nighthawk fleet, and he literally had a radar runner's crew on, dropped a large pinch on me, got one set of torpedoes off, and then got outside of the range and then ran me around for 5 minutes. Of course, because I didn't do any damage to him and he'd done damage to me, he ended up getting a win. So,
So there's the tactic. You've just given a lot of people a nice idea there, so thanks. But you know, there is always different tactics, and people are gonna argue about which ones are best to use. But you know, use what you want to use. Really, do what you're gonna do to win. It's a game. It's competitive. I don't know about anyone else, but I will do whatever the fuck I need to do to win this tournament.
But don't you think it's surprising that with all the feedback they got, they didn't do anything with that? And with the other one, that was people just fighting and losing a lot of battles, and they just counted the wins and not the losses to penalize a bit the ranking?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it was a bit of a joke, really. That you know, last time you could just carry on sending fleets, and as long as you had the uranium to obviously repair them, you could send fleet after fleet into there. They could die, you could lose, you know, you could put them in an auto, and you could lose 9 matches out of 10, but it'd count that one in towards your total. So you had people that were doing like 1,000 battles over the weekend, just literally just chucking anything in there, and then sometimes they were winning, sometimes they weren't, and they were having like winners in some of their groups who had like 120 wins and like 2,000 losses and stuff like that, and it's just getting ridiculous. But you know, it's the way they want to do it, I suppose.
Well,
I don't call that winning personally, but you know, obviously kicks I do.
Didn't they give you an option last time where you could choose a blueprint of your choice as a prize?
No, I don't think so.
So I don't know where I've been trying to find the fucking briefing and I can't find it on the forums, but I'm sure there was last time. Obviously, there's not this time, so it's fucking irrelevant anyway.
No.
No, they have done things like that, but not. It wasn't the Forsaken Arena that I remember.
No, I mean the last one that I remember that they done that for was basically video competition. But
yeah, it might have been that actually.
But other than that, I don't think there's been anything like that recently.
No, on the last one, there were just 2 prizes. If you were in the Elite one, you were getting the Deep Charges. If you were in the normal one, you were getting the Inferno. And then, as in this one, if you were between the 10 and ahead, you could get 25, I think. They could get the Inferno instead. And if they got the Inferno, they got it redeemed into some more uranium. But I don't remember they getting any extra blueprints, like you said.
I might have just fucking made it up, to be honest. Who knows?
Knowing you, probably.
It depends if I've been drinking or not, doesn't
it?
Yeah. Well, moving on then. I think we all know what's coming next. There's a lot of fucking sore horses today, isn't there? Because a glitch repair has been cancelled, stopped, prevented, whatever you call it. What do you guys think about this?
I reckon it's good.
It's fucking good, yeah.
It's good.
Well, actually, they never fix it. The only thing is that they fix is the way that the people can trigger it, because it only consists in a way to stop the saving or the overlay of the data that comes from that ship into the dock. So, but yes, so far I think this was one that has lasted longer than others that people was using a lot, and since that it has had a lot of impact in the game. Actually, I was doing the slides and I came very late to the first release of the dredges, and I was surprised that half an hour later there were dredges even inside in my base.
Yeah. Now, why do you think
when you jumped to me though, wasn't it, Tito?
Yeah, exactly. I jumped to you at the moment I ended the slide.
Do you not think it took them too long to do it? I mean, they must have known about it, surely. It's been fucking ages since people have been using this, isn't it? So why now is what I'm thinking, you know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people running around with Hellhound fleets that take like a day and a half to fix, and you know they're using them like 6 or 7 times an hour. And,
yeah.
I think that's kind of pushed it along a little bit. That they're thinking, wow, you know, people who are using a fleet that takes like 72 coins to repair, and they're using it like 5 times an hour, and we're not getting anything from it. Maybe we should look into this.
Well, I think I think it's safe to say that my base isn't going to get hit as much. I don't know about you two, but I seem to get hit a lot by people with all these powerful fleets. And it's not like they're just hitting me, they're hitting everyone, you know. Like one or two guys go around hitting like 15, 20 bases an hour with one fleet. So it's going to be a very expensive hour for them now if they wish to continue doing that.
I mean, I do that anyway, but I obviously pay for my repairs, because I just like to do it just to annoy people.
Yeah, there's that as well.
And then once one person, argues back at me or sends me some butthurt mail, that's it. I'll just go and wipe through their entire alliance because I can.
I remember that because the amount of times I'm sat there and I'm thinking, why is no one fucking hitting me? I'll just send you a message, call you a cunt, and then you'll come over and stuff like that. There we go. Top tip for everyone: if you want to hit, send Earth a message, you'll come over.
Yeah, but as you said, probably now was quite clear who was doing it or who is not. One for the coins that they don't get for repairing it, and that's because it's unusual that somebody that is asking help and analyze in a raid because he doesn't coin that much, then has a fleet of hellhounds that he can use every now and then when we all know how much costs to use that fleet, especially if you lose it.
Yeah, definitely. I think personally though, it's going to change the way people hit bases, which I'm glad to see. I've always been a kind of old school guy, even now. I'll try and prep as many times as I can. So if you've got something that if I can snipe out your Viper and then send my subs in twice and kill your fleet, I'm going to sit there and put the effort in and do that. And I think a lot more people now are going to start to do that to lessen their repairs. You know, the people who were going around getting these free repairs all day, every day, they've now got to think to themselves, well, I either spend a fortune or do what everybody else does and think about it and actually use some skill, which I think is really good for the game because it makes it more of a challenge to hit a base rather than just get the most expensive fleet, click on an outpost and hope for the best and take as much damage as you can running through gargoyles and serbs and everything. And I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, I agree as well. It's brought back the prep element to the game. I don't think you're going to see as many people just coming full steam ahead at bases. I think they're going to start thinking about how much it's going to cost them and stuff like that. I definitely reckon that it's going to reduce the amount of people that's going to be hitting bases like mine and stuff like that. Because some days I can get hit 12, 13, 14 times a day. It gets
You're
ridiculous.
popular, aren't you?
My problem is that they don't usually make 50%, and in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I'm usually back down to 25%, just below 25%, and then I coin my guard and I pop. So, I get hit quite a lot.
Yeah, and especially they will not blame you anymore if you prep the base first before hitting. Like at times that they say, why are you prepping my base? Well, just to make sure I don't get that huge bill when I get back.
Oh, I get endless messages like, "Oh, you can't one-hit my base and stuff." Well, I probably could, but I'd rather not. I'd rather spend less money to hit your base. Why would I send one fleet in if I can prep you out and then hit you with maulers? It's more fun to do that.
I spent half the evening last night just because I was bored and just because I like hate mail, just going around and taking out people's guards with Reapers. That's all I was doing. I didn't even bother hitting the bases. I just went out and took all the guards out with the Reapers and
it's quality, mate.
started off and just left their bases with the guards.
I've done that many times. Go in, take the base guard. If they're really being a cunt, take the launch pad and dock as well. Depends how they are, to be honest.
I just did it for no particular reason other than I was bored.
Really, I think we all have done that. We don't have any other way to test the thing, so you get the Reapers, you think you have a good level on them, and you go there and see, let's see how many bases I can prep before this. I need to repair this.
Yeah, I do that, I must admit, with stuff. So I like doing multiple bases with my Kodiaks as well. It's always good fun. Especially lower level bases in the 60s. I can usually get about 10 or 15 out of my Kodiak fleet by the time I have to send it home.
Quite a few bases.
Yeah. It's quite good.
What I love though is, if I've got the time to prep out a base, I don't need to use a bullseye brigade. Because let's be honest, if you're using missiles and someone's got a half decent guard, you do need to use bullseye brigade in most of these bases. Unless you prep the guard out, then the missiles just fucking fly through, retarget all the turrets, and you're not really taking that much damage, are you?
You say that though. Sometimes it is better to leave certain ships in for when you actually do hit the base. I tend to try and pick and choose what I want to take out. I might take out like a second enforcer and leave the first one there, just because I know that I can get an easy retarget off of it onto, for example, a Wendigo or
Oh
something.
hell yeah! If you can retarget that Wendigo, it's probably advisable to actually leave, or even leave some of the ship. I've done it where I've run my subs in, I killed the first enforcer, the second enforcer is like in a position as such where I can retarget some of the island. So I might kill half of it and then hit retreat, which means it dies quicker and more missiles fly over to the island, don't they?
This is very true. So yeah, it's all good
Yeah,
fun.
there's a tip. Clever prepping. Don't just run in there and take everything because it might kick you in the arse.
This is
Tease
very
them a
true.
little bit. Take one ship and just leave and go back in an hour, see what's behind it.
And make sure you leave the one ship that's not going to do you any harm, but is going to be in there, so they can't target the turrets as well. Because obviously, if you haven't got guard fleet in there, you can target the turrets. So
yeah, that's true.
Make sure that you leave at least something in there. For example,
I don't understand how that works. Because I mean, you can target turrets and hit the attackers, but you can't if you've got a guard in, and I don't see why.
I think it's just sort of set up as a last line of defence, really, so that if you lose all your guards, you've at least got some way of defending your base.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a very good point and something to remember. I mean, yesterday I Reaper prepped someone out, and the chap I only took one enforcer out, and obviously he's seen the main fleet coming in was going to be a Mastodon fleet, so he pulled his guard out, and then he just used his turrets to target the Mastodons and kill the Mastodons.
Ouch.
So that obviously it wasn't me that was hitting. I felt quite gutted actually because I prepped obviously for the chap who it was, but the guy who was online and he pulled his guard and just targeted the Mastodons and killed the Mastodons as soon as he went over 25%. So,
you got to do what you got to do sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah, this is it. I don't blame him at all, to be honest.
Just to piss you off, eh?
Yeah, well, it's what it is, isn't it?
That's what the game's about for me, pissing people off, to be honest. I'd try to do it as much as I can.
So, has anybody got anything else they want to talk about?
I think we've kind of covered it, really, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, I know it was only going to be a short show tonight. Basic things I think we've got to remember and take from this is load up on some uranium so that you can pay for your uranium repairs for the tournament. Send in a mixed fleet, something that can kill subs, something that shoots underwater, something with long range, preferably a Mastodon and a Frostburn in your fleet.
Don't forget them small pinches.
And small pinches, because they only take, they're only one coin and a instant 5 minutes. And they're good to have because most of the time you're not going to need it, but leave it there until you need it. It gets you out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's a nice contingency, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times where I've mixed in a sub with my B fleet, and I've come close to the point of rising. I'm like, shit, kind of in a corner here. Drop a pinch on the fucking Frostburn and kill it. So yeah, subs with bullseye is amazing. I love subs with bullseye in the arena. If you've got a pinch as well, you can pretty much drop a pinch on a Frostburn, target that obviously first because it's got more thermal, and if you've got legend rank, you're talking about a few volleys, a few seconds, and that pinch won't even have expired before you kill the ship.
Yeah, definitely. Tio, have you got anything you want to add at all?
No, I think we have covered it all. Like we have give them some tips about what setup to bring into the arena, and remember then that if they have enough uranium to spend in those protections, they can leave the arena without having to spend that much money on overall coins and alike, and that if they are capable of beating the three matches that last the protection, they actually not just get the uranium back, but they get some more out of it.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
40% per win, isn't it?
I think there's 2 different levels of uranium protection as well. So if you're in the lower tier, it actually costs less uranium for your protection. Just as a
That's
little
true,
heads
yeah.
up. So
It'll tell you anyway if you want to see your personalized uranium, if you like. Just go into the arena now, and it tells you on the right hand side, doesn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
When you put a fleet
Right,
in
I
before you
think
kill.
I think it's about time to wrap up here, really, isn't it? We've covered everything. We're just kind of waffling on for the sake of it now. There's no need to keep it dragging. So thank you everyone for coming out and watching. Um, Obviously, check out our Facebook page if you haven't already, Battle Pirates Crib. We'll be doing a show. When are we doing it this weekend? Is it Friday?
It'll either be Friday or Saturday, but I'll post it up on both the Alliance Crib and the Battle Pirates Crib. So
Yeah.
make sure we're on both pages. The
Yeah, I
Alliance
think it
Crib's a bit
most
of
likely
fun.
Friday.
More than
Friday's
likely.
more convenient for a lot more of the audiences and a lot easier for some of us. So, but like you said, we'll let you know anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, and we shall
Thanks for
see you
watching.
soon.
You're
Adios.
welcome. Hasta la vista.